I'm your Welcome 23, you're joining me for Rising Tides, Chapter 4, Head Above Water. You and Charlie exchange a worried glance as your mom puts her phone on the speaker. Miss Thompson, I'm calling about your daughter, Charlotte. I cannot accept such reckless behavior from my students. You can almost hear the sneer in his voice. Charlie starts to speak, but your mom holds up a hand. Principal Strickler, I understand. I've just spoken with her and she won't do it again. With all due respect, I worry that a talk might not be enough, given the scale of disruption she caused today. I'm afraid I have no choice but to suspend her from school until further notice. What? You can't do that. Oh, you're there too, Charlotte. Let me say this to you directly. I will personally see to it that you won't cause any more trouble on my watch, not if you want to graduate. She shakes, and tears fill her eyes. Your face flushes with anger, and you grab the phone from your mom. Principal Strickler, we won't let you get away with this. You've been singling out my sister for years. Expect a formal complaint to your superiors. Go right ahead. It's the word of a problem student and a problem sister versus mine. He ends the call, and you're left seething, listening to the dial tone. I can't believe that a-hole. Well, that a-hole is still the principal, so unfortunately, he calls the shots. But I didn't do anything wrong. Charlie, honey, I get why you're upset. I am too, but we shouldn't kick the hornet's nest anymore. How is speaking about the serious issues kicking the hornet's nest? I know you're passionate about climate change, and we want to be supportive of your activism, but now it's affecting your academic record. You've got to dial it back a notch. But this isn't Charlie's fault. Principal Strickler is abusing his authority to target Charlie. We have to fight back. Knowing him, if we complain, he'll take it to court, and we certainly don't have the money for a lawyer. I'm so sick of this. I just want people to take this seriously, and everyone keeps trying to shut me up. Charlie, please. All we're asking is that you find a better way to express yourself that won't get you in trouble. I can't deal with this right now. She pushes past your parents and barges into the house, slamming the door behind her. Your mom rubs her temples and plops down on a crate. Why does it feel like everything is wrong with my family, or going wrong this week? First our business, now this. Come on, honey. It's gonna be okay. We'll get through this. Guys, I know there's a lot happening right now, but speaking up about climate change is really important to Charlie. Have you ever talked to her about it? She's really scared about the future and what it might hold and what it might look like. It's literally life and death. I don't want her to think we're not listening. I just wish I knew how to help her make her point. That wasn't in the parents' manual. Harriet, it'd be a big help if you could talk to her. Maybe she'll be more willing to listen to you. She looks up to you so much. I don't really know what the best solution is either, but I'll do my best. Well, we don't know how to be a parent, so we'll pass it off to the sister. Okay. You gently knock on Charlie's door and poke your head in. She's curled up on the bed, face buried in a pillow. Hey, kiddo, it's me. Can I come in? I guess. You sit down on the edge of the bed and rub her back as she sniffles. I just want to say that you did the right thing today. Whatever anyone says. Well, it doesn't feel like it. This is a chance to give Charlie advice that will affect how she approaches her goals. What you did took bravery. Standing up to authority is scary, especially when you know how unfair Strickler is. But you did it anyway. You cared enough to take a risk, and when no one else would. And that makes you pretty amazing in my book. Daring to do things differently is hard, but when we really care, we find it within ourselves to be brave. Thanks, Harriet. I needed to hear it. Charlie wipes her eyes and sits up. I'm just so frustrated. People are telling me to stay in school, but then they're not listening when I explain the facts. You know, maybe I should study ecology when I get to college. People might be more willing to hear me if I have a degree. No, they won't. I think that's a good goal. I mean, you're clearly passionate about it. So now I just have to wait 2 years to graduate high school, then another 4 to finish college. But I don't think Earth has that kind of time. Well, then let's focus on what we can do. Now, maybe tomorrow we can talk to some people around town and try to get them to see things your way. We, as in you're coming with? I wouldn't miss it for the world. Besides, I did promise our parents I'd keep an eye on you. So, how about we turn the suspension into an opportunity to do something productive? I want to. I'm just not quite sure how. What's going to convince people to listen to me? Well, let's think strategically. I may not have any experience with activism, but I did take some communication classes in college. If you want to convince people of something, you have to frame it in a way they care about. And sometimes, you have to start small. I know you're looking for political action, but maybe we can ease people in that by showing what they can do, individually first. That's a good point. It might help them feel like they can make a difference. I have some notes on ideas for going green. She leans over to her desk and reaches for a hefty notebook. Handing it to you, flip through the page after page for details. Wow, you really have been doing your research. Have you slept at all lately? Sleep is for people who aren't trying to save the world. Okay, Supergirl. Why don't you practice on me right now? Tell me how these habits would be beneficial, as if I weren't your sister. Tell me about reducing waste. Humanity has generated so much waste in the last few decades. So many of our possessions are built to be disposable, and they wind up in landfills. If we look for good quality, sustainable possessions made to last and work to maintain them, we'd spend less on replacing them. That even extends to reusable things like coffee filters, paper towels, hygiene products. And if we vote with our dollars and show that we want more sustainable products, companies might take note and change their production. You're kind of making me want to refurbish Grandpa's old writing desk in the attic. Maybe that'll be on our next project. Tell me about conserving resources. This one's kind of a no-brainer, but using less water and electricity in your home cuts your utility bills down so much. There are easy hacks, like using sunlight from windows to warm your home, and thick curtains to reduce the heat in the summer. You can also use insulation and weather stripping in your home to make sure the temperature stays consistent and doesn't leak out. And if you have the money for a long-term investment, installing solar panels or other reusable energy sources cuts costs big time. I think we may need to talk to our parents into doing some of these. Let me talk about reevaluating your diet. I swear to God, if you start saying we need to eat green, I'm gonna get pissed. This one can depend on your person's dietary needs, but shifting what you eat can help the earth and your health. Meat manufacturing produces so much carbon dioxide, and eating too much meat contributes to heart disease and other ailments. Cutting out carbon-intensive meat, going vegetarian or vegan, or even just doing meatless Mondays can help a dent on both fronts. We're not even going to talk about this until the end. Also, eating locally grown, in-season food is fresher and tastier, and takes less energy to ship, and cooking is cheaper than takeout. If this is your way of volunteering to cook a delicious homemade vegetable stir-fry, then I'm game. Tell me about volunteering. With the internet, it's easier than ever to find and research organizations that are helping the environment. If you can spare the cash, even a small amount, donating can help them fund valuable projects, and you get a tax break. Volunteering for a local organization is also super helpful. If you're a student, it's a good experience for your resume. It's also a good way to meet like-minded people. Depending on the project, you might get to work with animals. Sign me up for the baby raccoon rescue team. Charlie, you really know what you're talking about. I didn't even think half of this stuff existed. Honestly, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Individual actions are really the small part of the fight against climate change. We mentioned absolutely nothing about corporations, but we'll move on. But they're still worth doing, and I hope that once people get started, they'll be more willing to take bigger actions. And I think when you put it like that, people are bound to take note. We are gonna change this town for the better. No, you're not. The next morning, you and Charlie prepare to head into town. She consults her notes at the kitchen table, and looks up when you enter. You're wearing that? Why not? You're the one who made it for me, remember? Yeah, but everybody's already seen it. And, it's time for a diamond choice. We're just going into town, not to meet the Met Gala, you little diva. But isn't presentation part of being convincing? We need to look the part, right? You need an outfit that says, I'm a smart professional young woman who loves the earth as much as I love clothes. I think I know where this is going. What did you make this time? Remember the Thanksgiving when Uncle Albert managed to spill wine on both of us and ruin our dresses? If only I could forget. I love that white lace dress. And you had the pink one, I remember. Well, I held on to them and decided to make something with non-stained parts. It wouldn't fit me. Or didn't, but it might work on you. What? That's awesome. And it ties into what you were saying yesterday about reusing items instead of throwing them out. Exactly. I think it helped underline my point. She brings the clothes from her room and you excuse yourself to get changed, and then re-emerge into the kitchen. Oh, it's so cute. I'm a fashion genius. Wear this outfit to boost your sway when talking to people about the environment. For a company who's pushing this book on us right now in this narrative, it's weird how you pushing also the subliminal messages of you have to have better clothes for this or that and all this other crap. Some of you should go listen to Tom MacDonald's No Lives Matter right now. Really, you should. I think I may love this more than the original dress. I'm telling everyone you made this. Damn straight you are. Do you have any idea how hard it is to sew lace like that? I don't, but it's clear that you nailed it, and I'm glad our beautiful dresses can live on. You head into town together, feeling hopeful. You start at Stan's tailor shop. It's empty and the air smells stale and dusty. You think Stan will listen? He seems kind of critical of the walkout yesterday. Yeah, but I remember you really enjoyed interning for him last summer. I'm sure he'd be willing to listen to you. Just follow my lead. As if on cue, Stan emerges from the back room. Ah, the Thompson sisters, my favorite fashionable duo in the whole Cedarport. Welcome back, Harriet. Thanks, Stan. It's good to see you. How's business been lately? Not great, honestly. It seems like most people these days aren't interested in high-quality fashion. Present company excluded, of course. I just adore your look today, Harriet. Thanks, Stan. Charlie, actually, made this out of some old dresses. Charlie, you stun me. Your potential grows every day. I see the fashion career in your future. That means a lot coming from you, Stan. I just wish other people had your style, sensibilities. No one cares about quality or craft anymore. They're all buying cheap clothes from Eternally 22 that fall apart after 3 washes. Right? That's why I basically stopped shopping for clothes at the mall. Everything is made of awful synthetic poly blends. Exactly! And the seam work is terrible. Exposed zippers, shoddy turnip hems, no bias binding. Oh, don't get me started on buttonholes. Yeah, that all sounds really bad. Isn't there, anything you can do? I don't know. It's a sad reality of the times we live in. There's no way to stop it. I'll probably have to close shop. I hate to see this place close. It's an important part of the Cedarport's community. You make beautiful costumes for a school play when I was a freshman. We felt like we were in the Royal Shakespearean Company. Ah, A Midsummer's Night's Dream. You were, Peace Blossom, right? If I recall, that was a delightful experience. You all look so happy. I think, people do care. They just need a nudge in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, I've been having great time sewing, and it's given me so much more appreciation for clothing. Charlie, that's in. What if Stan offered, sewing lessons? People would be able to make and maintain better clothing. And personalized clothing at that, instead of constantly buying new ones. You could charge for classes, advice, and be the main retailer for sewing supplies. Oh, it's not a bad idea. but I've never done anything like that before. It would change my whole business model. Sam, you'd be a community mentor. You always seem to enjoy helping people realize their visions, like with our school play. This way you'd get to do this all the time. You know what? You're right. Maybe it is just time for me to move in a new direction. Seeing you and Charlie explore fashion ideas reminds me of when I was younger, and I had big dreams about designing clothes. This would be the perfect opportunity to bring those visions to life. Hey, Sam, you know how I've been talking about climate change lately? Have you ever thought about how fast fashion ties into that? Not really. I don't see how the two are related. Oh, that's why. All those cheap synthetic clothes that get thrown away wind up in the landfills. They waste resources, pollute natural ecosystems. So by helping people change their fashion habits, you'd actually be helping combat climate change too. Wow, I didn't even think of it like that. Well, it turns out you can help the Earth and yourself in the process. Daring to do things differently is hard, but when we actually really care, we can find it within ourselves to be brave. He glances up to you, and the two of you exchange a smile. Hey, what if I asked people to donate their old unused sheets and tablecloths for fabric? Now you're speaking my language. Next, you swing by the general store, where Beth is wrapped in a blanket behind the counter. As you enter, a blast of cool air hits you and you shiver. Hey, Charlie, Harriet, nice to see you. Why is it so cold in here? You look like you're about to freeze to death. Oh, it's just the building is getting old and drafty. I'm trying not to run the heat unless I have to. Our energy bills are through the roof. Hey, you could always build an indoor fire. If you have to run the heat in May, you've got a problem. Not really, it depends on where you live. You're telling me, I love this building, but some days it feels like a financial black hole. I'm actually considering moving locations. But this place has been in your family for generations. I've been coming here since I was a kid. Whenever I was having a rough day, Mom would bring me here to buy a treat. This place has always been so comforting. I don't want to relocate either, but I might have no choice. I feel like I'm just delaying the inevitable. Even after closing up gaps, this building has no insulation, and ancient electrical system is draining so much energy. But what about retrofitting? There are a lot of really cost-efficient energy sources like solar panels out there. You could do a fundraiser to cover the cost. It's a nice idea, but at the same time, this building has so much history. My great-grandfather built this place, and we've done our best to maintain it. I don't want to lose the history by modernizing it. But, this will help you preserve it. If you sold the building, the next person buying it won't have the same attachment you have. They'd probably rip it up. But if you oversee the changes, you can find the balance that respects the history while making sure it's functional. That's a really good point, actually. Maybe there is a way to balance what's best for the building and my business. I might have to look into these solar panels. We do get a lot of afternoon sun. Beth, I think that's a great idea. Plus, you'd be helping keep the planet clean for future generations who might continue this business. That could even be an angle of your fundraiser. I think people would respect that you're thinking about the planet. You two are full of good ideas today. Okay, I'll think about it, but I have some questions about this green energy stuff. Lucky for you, I have answers. Oh, we don't get to see the questions phase. Of course not. Pixelberry didn't go that far. You exit the general store and Charlie looks happier than you've seen her in all week. Hey, this is going better than I expected. There's two people on the same page already. Yeah, I think talking to people one-on-one is working. I bet if we... Suddenly you stop to cough as the smell of exhaust fills your nostrils. You glance out at the street, which is packed with cars. Man, when did traffic get so bad here? I don't remember ever seeing so many people on the road. It's been getting worse over the last few years. More people want convenience, I guess, but it's causing so much pollution. A lot of people could walk or ride a bike, which would be better for the environment and give them some exercise. Which, have you seen half these people? They need the exercise. Even for longer distances, there's always public transit. We have a perfectly good bus system that's hardly anyone uses. I wonder if people are aware of how much impact they could have. Maybe they think twice about driving everywhere. Hey, maybe that's the next thing we can work on. We could talk to people about reducing the carbon footprint on the road. Help Charlie reduce pollution from cars and clean up the town. Oh, I can't wait for what Pixelberry's gonna do with this one. You and Charlie survey the gridlock traffic. You spot Superintendent Jones leaning out of his window and honking his horn. What's the holdup? I swear if I end up missing another district meeting because of traffic. And Charlie exchange a glance. Perfect candidate. Let's do this. As you and Charlie approach, Superintendent Jones rubs his forehead. Charlie throws you a glance and you give her a thumbs up. Hi, Mr. Jones. Are you doing okay? No, Charlie. I'm currently calculating how many hours of my life get wasted sitting in traffic jams every week. Always like me. The sad irony is that all my stops are just a stone throws away from each other. Really? You know, maybe it'd be more convenient to walk or bike. I've considered it. It would probably be a lot more convenient, but I hate exercising. Actually, biking is very fun. Okay, but... consider your health. You know how people in France can eat so much cheese and still have the perfect figures? It's because they walk everywhere. Exercise is good for your mental health, too. Endorphins make people happy. Happy people don't blast their car horns. No, happy people still blast their car horns. Well, maybe in the summer that fly, but what happens when winter rolls around and the cold weather and rain sets in? You wear a rain suit or literally pedal with an umbrella. Listen, welcome to my goddamn life, seriously. What about taking the bus? And if more people rode the public transit, then there'd be less traffic to begin with. Sure, but for that to make a dent in the traffic, everybody would have to ride the bus. I can't convince people to give up driving. I'm not saying you give up driving, just drive less. Let me ask you this. How much do you spend on gas in a month? Say on average, probably around $400. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! A month? Cedarport is not that big. And that's not even counting maintenance and service fees, but a bus pass costs, wait for it, $55 a month. Wait, listen, I hear you, but I can't sing along to my music on the bus. Actually, you can. Sing in the shower, join a choir, busk at the bus stop? You really don't let up, do you, kid? Charlie opens her mouth, but no sound comes out. She can't seem to tell if the superintendent's joking. He's being sarcastic. Of course she doesn't. Because she's right. You might not be comfortable with the change, Mr. Jones, but you can't argue with the facts. As an educator yourself, you must understand. Charlie knows more about the carbon emissions in public transport than anyone else I know. Her advice is absolutely sound. I guess it makes sense. And if enough people do the same, then maybe we can finally reduce the air pollution here. I suppose it wouldn't kill me to leave the car at home now and then, but are you going to have this conversation with every person on the road? I mean, if we can. If I have to, I could spend it all day. Okay, hold up just a moment, Charlie. It might be easier to make a case to someone who has more power to make a bigger effect here. Someone like Superintendent Jones. Me, but I don't have any control over who decides to get on the road. Actually, you kinda do. You could put more of the school budget towards school buses. Yeah! Every morning our school parking lot is packed with parents dropping off their kids. Imagine how many cars you'd get off the road. Oh, you could add more bike parking, or give stipends to school employees who carpool, or take public transit, or... Alright, Charlie, these are great ideas, but all I wanted to do was save time on my commute. Do I really need to change up our whole district policy? What if I told you it would help the school district? It would ensure safe, timely, accessible transportation for students and employees who live further away or don't have access to cards. Think of the benefits alone would make the district look competent and considerate towards its staff and students. Superintendent brings a hand to his chin and nods slowly, and then with more enthusiasm. The idea will take time. We need to crunch numbers, see how we can incentivize the town to engage, but I think we can make it work. If you're willing to get your neighbors excited, I'm willing to put in the work on my end as well. That's amazing. I know you won't regret it. Just remember to be patient, Charlie. This isn't gonna happen overnight. I know that, Mr. Jones, but getting started is enough for me. The superintendent sighs and passes out of his car. You know, I think it actually is time to consider other options. Maybe I'll look into getting a bike. I think it'll really change your perspective. Every little thing adds up. If it keeps me out of traffic every morning, a change of perspective is guaranteed. As if the traffic finally inches ahead, the Superintendent Jones drives off with a wave, and you drape your arm over Charlie's shoulders and pull her close. You're standing literally in the middle of the street, but hey, no cars are behind you or honking. Changing the world, one person at a time. You helped a lot too. I didn't even think about the school buses. I'm so glad you were with me. Hey, you're the mastermind here. I'm just along for the ride. Or walk, rather. That's not true. Before you know it, it'll just, you'll be up to just as much of an activism as me. High bar, but I'll do my best. You helped Charlie revitalize the public transportation. I'll accept this. But look at all the other areas that has cars with smog. Get the fuck out of here. Pixelberry didn't update the map. Not fully. Later that day, after many more conversations with townsfolk, you and Charlie stroll down Main Street. Charlie is grinning ear to ear, practically bobbing with delight. Today was awesome. People are finally starting to listen to me. What did I tell you? Sometimes we just have to put things in context for people to really understand them. I guess a lot of us get so caught up in our own lives, we don't always see the big picture. It's interesting. Maybe now that the people see how much good they can do on a small level, they'll be willing to get more involved in sustainability. I'll admit, I'm learning things I didn't know, and now you can take a well-deserved break after all your hard work. And quit while I'm ahead? No way. This is my chance to turn people's enthusiasm into real action. Wow, you really don't give up, do you? Okay, how are you gonna do that? Okay, I'm not totally sure, but if people are getting interested, there must be something we can do. There's someone who might be able to help. At the cleanup, I met this lawyer, Cassidy, who's interested in conservation. Oh, is that why you look so smitten and full of longing all afternoon? You must have been very engaging. Can't a girl have a little fun? I'm an adult with a functioning pair of eyes, and I know a hottie when I see one. A hottie with a body. You've barely been home a week, and you've already scoping out babes? And you say I'm relentless? Come on, you little punk. His office isn't far from here. When you arrive at Cassidy's office, the interior is completely different from the past version. The homey decor of Sam's fudge shop has been replaced with sleek, modern furnishings. Cassidy is seated at his desk, typing furiously, but he looks up with a smile as you enter. Well, look who decided to drop by. I was hoping I'd see you again. And if I may say so, you're looking absolutely stunning today. Thanks. I'd like to think I clean up pretty good when I'm not soaking wet and covered in seaweed. Actually, I thought you looked lovely then, too. Not everyone can pull off algae shake. This isn't a bad time, is it? Any time is a good time for you. Oh, and I didn't forget about the fudge, so please, help yourselves. He gestures towards a bowl of fudge at the front of the desk. Before you have time to thank Cassidy, Charlie snatches up a piece and devours it. Not even close to what Sam used to make, but it'll do. Charlie, don't be rude. You'll have to excuse my sister, Cassidy. Don't worry, my ego isn't built around fudge buying abilities. So what brings you here today? Just making sure, meeting you isn't a dream. I can pinch you if you need to be sure. His eyes sparkle as he holds your gaze, and you can't stop yourself from smiling. Charlie coughs loudly. Stop choking on the fudge, Charlie. But I'm right here, you guys. And your point. Okay, I was actually hoping you could give me and my sister some advice. Charlie is trying to make Cedarport more environmentally friendly. I've been talking to people all day, and I think they're starting to get on board with my ideas, but I'm not sure what the next step is. That community support might give you the leverage to enact change on a political level. Have you thought about proposing an initiative? No, I didn't actually know that you could do that if you're not like a senator. Most people don't. It depends on the state you live in, but here in Massachusetts, any citizen can put forth a proposal that goes to ballot. That's an initiative statute. If the ballot passes, it gets sent to the state legislature for consideration. Alternatively, you could aim for an indirect initiative statute, where you gather enough signatures of support to send it to the state legislature. Wow, getting a law passed is that easy. Who knew? Well, proposing and passing a law are two different things. It still has to be filled with state officials and properly prepared for the ballot to qualify. When it gets to a legislator, they could pass it, amend it, send it back to the ballot, or make their own version of the law to put on the ballot. But getting support for the initiative is the important part, and it sounds like you got a good start on that front already. Charlie gets a far-off look in her eyes. Suddenly, she jumps up and runs for the door. Gotta go write my ballot proposal, thanks, Cassidy, bye! Before you can say anything, she disappears out the door, and you turn back to Cassidy. His expression is surprised yet amused. I like her already. She reminds me of myself at that age. I should have known you'd get along. Neither one of you seems to know where to take a break. Guilty. But seriously, I'm impressed that you're taking such initiative on the environmental front. Believe me, she's the one with drive. I've just been trying to steer her in a productive direction. That's very sweet of you to help her. I have a younger sister too, and I'd do just about anything for her. Oh yeah? I'd love to hear more about your family. You didn't tell me a lot about your personal life last time. Oh, and I'd love to tell you. However, I have to leave for an appointment in just a moment. Oh, okay, I understand. Maybe we can talk more another time? Hold on, you're not getting out of this so easily. I was about to ask if you'd join me. I have some business at a country club outside of town. Their events are, to put it mildly, mind-numbing. I'd love some company. You might even be able to make some rich, powerful allies for your sister's initiative. What do you say? Join Cassidy at the country club for a chance to win more support for your sister and get some alone time. That sounds like a fun afternoon. Steven! Listen, I was going for the meme. Shut up. Oh, I wouldn't call this place fun, but I promise I'll do best to keep you entertained. Somehow, I doubt that'll be a problem. You and Cassidy pull up to the country club about 20 minutes outside of Cedarport. The grounds are luxurious and sprawling, and for a moment you think you're back on your college campus. A valet appears at your window and gracefully opens your door. Before you can say a word, he whisks away Cassidy's keys and the car pulls out of the drive. This is way out of my comfort zone. Reserve your judgment. It gets worse. Is a certain someone there, 45? Is he golfing? Cassidy leads you inside, and your jaw drops in the ornate and lavish decor. Wow, if I had known I was coming to a place like this, I would have worn something fancier. Actually, I think you dress perfectly, in every sense of the word. You feel your heat rise to your face as Cassidy runs his eyes over your outfit. Tell me more. Does my hair glisten like a river? Do my eyes glimmer like the stars? You've taken the words right out of my mouth. Then come up with something else. Haven't mentioned the heart of gold under all that humility. Glance over to the patrons of the country club. There's laughter, some clinking of mimosas, but ultimately the air in the room feels empty. Like most rich people. You weren't kidding about this place being fancy. I can't believe this even exists so close to Cedarport. It's like another world. A lot of these people live large in big cities and come to Cedarport for the summer. They bring their fancy lifestyles with them. Many of my clientele gather here, and I do business here from time to time. It's certainly more convenient than flying out to meet them. So you're a regular here? Maybe you can fill me in on how I should act. I don't want to accidentally make a fucked boss and get kicked out. I sincerely doubt that will happen unless you decide to, I don't know, start a food fight or dance on the tables. Shoot, there goes my plans for the afternoon. I understand what you mean, though. Even I felt a little intimidated the first time I came here. But for what it's worth, I find that it helps to pretend that you're a powerful socialite who comes from a life of luxury. Are you telling me to roleplay as a rich person? I'll just stick close to you. After all, you're the hotshot lawyer here. I'll just be your arm candy. Oh, thanks. I've always wanted a trophy wife. Just to be clear, that trophy is for your passion and the dedication just as much as your good looks. You move from the elite circles and know how to make me feel special. I'm ready to sign that prenup right now. You slip your arm through his and he flashes you a sly smile. Seriously though, just be yourself. The people here may be incredibly privileged, but they're still people. No, they're not! Have you ever met a rich person, Pixelberry? It's just weird to think about how the wealth disparity. Some of my neighbors are about to go under, and these folks are eating caviar? True, but I think they're in a wonderful position to use that wealth for good. They just need to be steered in the right direction. Their donations would be game-changing for your sister's initiative. Funding is the backbone of any grassroots effort. You've been here before, and you seem like you've schmoozed with the best of them. How do I convince people here? Easy. Appeal to their egos. Okay, introduce me and back me up, I'll handle the rest. My pleasure. You and Cassidy approach the nearest group of attendees. An older man swirls the sparkling liquid in his glass. Do you know, Maud, that this is not truly champagne unless it's from the Champagne region of France?
Herb, all I know is that it tastes delicious.
Excuse me, Maud. That dress is absolutely stunning. New shipment? Woman blushes and fluffs her hair.
Oh, thank you for noticing. Always such a sweetheart, Cassidy. Herb could use a lesson or two.
I'm sure that's not true, but if you can believe it, my friend Miss Thompson here is even sweeter than me.
Oh, I can tell just by looking at it. Darling, your outfit is simply adorable.
Thank you. You know what they say, style recognizes style.
Why aren't you a peach, Cassidy? I love her already.
Both of them extend a hand. The woman turns hers down like she expects you to kiss it. You give each other a strong handshake. It's nice to meet you. What do you think of our quaint little summer home? A small town growl. This building is unlike anything I've ever seen. It's, extravagant. This must be the most marble I've seen in my life. Oh, thank you. It was imported from Italy. And that clearly is super important. Italy definitely has the hardest marble.
Who knows about the density? I just think some Italian marble has that shine.
Yeah. As soon as I walked in here, I thought this marble is definitely from the Mediterranean. To your surprise, Maud and Herb laugh. They raise their glasses in your direction. You tentatively meet them with your own. Miss Thompson, you are a hoot.
It's been a while since I had a good chuckle.
I've been saying we need new blood around here for ages. Miss Thompson, do you want a membership? I'm buying. I don't think. It's just, I'm so busy helping out with my family and their business, and... Well now, here's a gal who knows the value of hard work. What's the business? Fishing in Cedarport, but times have been hard lately.
Oh no, what's happened?
Cedarport is an unfortunate victim of a fish die-off. Miss Thompson's family is directly affected. We've been, always been a hard-working family, but without fish, there isn't a way for my parents to make a living.
Oh, well, that's absolutely horrible. You, will not find a bigger fan of sushi than me.
We're doing our best to fix it, and to save the family business all over town, but it might be a bigger issue than we realize. My sister thinks it might be due to the way the climate changes, and not everyone sees it that way.
Oh, well, I'm not sure about all that climate change business. It has been a little balmy lately, but heat waves happen.
It's more than just the weather, Mon. We're seeing changes on a huge scale along the East Coast. An initiative updating Cedarport's conservative policies would be huge. Small changes for us, but huge for the environment. Like charging a small fee to discourage the use of plastic bags and special incentives for carpooling.
Well, that doesn't sound difficult at all. Lord knows I have too many plastic bags in my kitchen closet.
Don't we all? I'm so glad you get it. And even if climate change wasn't an issue, these actions would still have profound benefits. If only If someone would think of the children. Why do I feel like that's a meme? We got the funding. My sister is doing this totally on her own. She's whip smart and passionate, but she's in high school. She doesn't exactly have the power to raise awareness or support for her bill. How tragic. Children should be seen and not her, as my parents used to say, utter poppycock. If college students are building the internet out of their garages or whatever, I say we should listen.
Don't you fret, Miss Thompson. We'd love to see those unfortunate circumstances take control of their destiny.
Oh, we had no issue or idea Cedarport was suffering like this. We'll talk to our accountant, see if we can juggle around our usual charities.
We'd be honored to help your sister during this trying time. Our own granddaughter would be quite proud of us.
She's been telling us to stop buying bottled water for ages. If we tell her we're helping pass an initiative.
Oh, she'd be tickled pink.
Your granddaughter is right. You really should stop buying bottled water. One step at a time, Kaz. While Cassidy steps away to attend to his client, you collect Herb and Maud's phone numbers and promise to call with more details once the initiative is written. It doesn't take too long for Cassidy to wrap up his business, and soon you're back in the driveway waiting for the valet to bring you your car. Not bad. You handled yourself pretty naturally in there. Thanks. Charlie would be thrilled to have some support from the Burgese. They are a little out of touch, but you can see their hearts are in the right place. To be honest, even I have blind spots. I'm not that much older than Charlie, but she has to educate me about stuff all the time. My little sister complains about the same thing. She says it's hassle to getting a geezer like me up to speed. I don't think you're a geezer. In fact, I think you're pretty sexy. No geezers here, only smoking hot babes. He laughs, a different laugh than you've ever heard from him. The sound is loud and free, and you can't help but join in. High praise coming from you. You're absolutely gorgeous. Cassidy lets his gaze linger on your face, eyes running over your lips and then down your neck. The valet pulls up and tactfully excuses himself. You and Cassidy look up at each other and for a long moment. Somehow neither of you seem to want to get in just yet. I never thank you for coming with me. It would have been boring without you. Somehow I think you would have managed about any time. The moment stretches, and Cassidy takes a small step toward you, but at the last moment he reaches past you and opens your car door. Let's get you home. You have some great news to tell your sister. Later that week, you're eating lunch and scanning job openings on your phone while your mom sifts through the bills. Brow furrowed, Charlie stumbles into the kitchen, yawning. Well, if it isn't Sleeping Beauty, hope you're feeling nice and rested. They changed our outfit. Charlie, just because you're not going to school doesn't mean you can't get up at a reasonable hour.
Hey, give me a break. I was up until 1 last night emailing business leaders about my proposal.
I swear, if you put in as much effort into chores as you did environmentalism, this house would be spotless. Why don't you chop some vegetables for tonight?
Fine. Let me just eat my breakfast first. Those carrots aren't going anywhere.
She pours a bowl of cereal and starts scrolling through her phone. After a moment, her eyes go wide and she almost spits out her cereal.
Oh my god, Warren Rafferty from Monteverde emailed me about my proposal, and he's going to organize a meeting with the community leaders to discuss it.
Boy, this seems short and sweet, I guess. I don't know, it felt shorter than normal. Anyway, before I get to a small talk with you, please remember to do what's on the screen. Every like matters. Seriously, it makes a big difference, and it helps to get the channel out there, it helps to get the videos out there, and whatnot. Please also make sure to subscribe if you're not already, so you don't miss out on great content. And, yeah, leave a comment down below if you've reached the end of the video. Also, let's go ahead and dive into what I have to say. So first of all, over in Japan, right? It was about 5 or so years ago, maybe a little longer, but there was a individual who devised a thing where you could take plastic and things that basically would be reusable, and he diverged a way to go and recycle those in your own home. They would provide you with actual gasoline, diesel, and other types of fuels, energy, and whatnot. These are things that basically are very, very real, and something that you could go, instead of taking your bottles and whatnot and putting them in the recycling, it's something that you could provide gas for your own car, and it's something that could provide even energy for your own home. This is something that also provided a laundry list of other benefits as well. Now, I know you're going to sit there and go, well, yeah, but you're still using gas. I know. Well, as a person who has sat here and has basically seen denied after denied after denied proposals for trying to get an energy initiative going, especially a lot of other initiatives, it's a system where you have a lot of people in office right now who just do not want to see change. A lot of these people are typically the old and insert, you know what they typically are, like Mitch McConnell, that are just sitting in office doing absolutely nothing for their state, their cities, their even their country. And long story short, these things could be done, but you've got the older generations who are very, very stuck in their ironclad ways of fossil fuels and not being progressive or conservative or anything else like that. Um, Solar panel initiatives and all these other things. These are things that are constantly being turned down right now, and these are things that could be pushed forward, and it takes you, the people, to push forward. It takes you, the people, to be an overwhelming push for this change. Every single voice, every single person matters, but unfortunately, when it comes to pushing these initiatives and whatnot, a lot of people just don't care. A lot of people just meh. I mean, literally, we have people who still think the planet is flat. People think that these issues don't even exist, and that basically the planet is the planet, and it's been this way for tens of thousands of years. And the thing is yes. And here's the thing is in the matter of, say, a couple decades, we've gone up to 8 billion people. Just a few decades ago, we were at just a few billion people. And we continue to go out, we continue to multiply like a virus. And what's going to happen, I mean, if you guys look into it, everybody talks about GMO. Remember when that was a thing? I know, this is a very lengthy rant, but this is shit that could talk about for days. And remember when everybody was talking about GMO? That was such a thing. Whatever happened to that? Exactly. The thing is all of your foods, all of them right now, are genetically modified. All of them. No matter what you eat is genetically modified. Hate to break it to you, it is. And the thing is people are getting less and less nutrients, and things are being put more and more and more in food to make you fatter, to make you more bloated, and then also the fact that some people just do not feel sated naturally like they should when they eat something. And so they eat more, and they eat more, and they eat more. And all while you go to the doctors and you find out you're deficient in this, you don't have enough of this, you don't have enough of this, you've got osteoporosis, and you've got bone weakening, you've got all this other shit, and tons of health issues and everything, because you're eating not real food. And we continue to do this because we have 8 billion people on this planet, and we don't even have enough when we had 4 billion people on this planet to continue feeding everybody. But for whatever reason, we think at 8 billion people, we're going to be just fine. You're stupid if you think that. You really are. So, without further ado, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace.